My background is in human resources and legal side of things in professional sports. I started with the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2000 as a law clerk. Worked there for a year as a law clerk, 2 years as an attorney, and then moved into the director of human resources role, which was also the head of human resources at the company. For 7 years, I was the head of human resources, and a couple of years ago, I left the Blue Jackets to pursue a career in academics, and now that's what I do. One of the first things that I look for, and I know this is kind of hard for people to understand, but it's the match. It's not just the same thing every single time. It's what's the match for what job I have available. If I'm looking for an entry-level ticket sales, the things I'm looking for are going to be completely different than when I'm hiring a director of marketing. So you have to know the job that you're applying for and what those skill sets are for each of those jobs. And I was fortunate. I was in a position where I hired a variety of different levels of positions, everything from entry-level ticket sales to vice presidents. But it's different in every position. So when you guys are applying for jobs, know what that job description is. Know what the job posting is. Don't just apply for anything. Apply for jobs that match what your experience and education bring. But in my experience, women negotiate a lot less than men for salary. And I think part of that is that's because that's kind of how we're taught. And I could go very deep into my philosophical side of thought, my thoughts about, why women are taught not to negotiate, but we're taught to please, to do what we're supposed to do, to just take what we're given and not fight for it. And I think that that's something you have to work against. Now, there's other people who are natural fighters, negotiators. But I think as a whole, I think women are taught not to negotiate, that you have a conversation, you have a straightforward conversation, and this is what the job is, this is what the job offered, and you're done. I would focus more on why women should negotiate. And women should negotiate if the position warrants it. There's some positions that if it's somewhat entry level, there's really not much negotiation to be had. So you get a job offer, they tell you how much it is, you take the job, and you're done. But as you move up in your career, you should definitely be negotiating for promotions, for raises, and hopefully you're in a workplace that is equal pay. So if you're in jobs similar to other men, you should be being paid equal to what they're making. And you should negotiate. You should know your value and negotiate for what you're worth. So you have to be the answer. I think a lot of times people don't focus enough on being the answer. If you're the go-to person, then you're proving your worth in the company. Do a good job in the job you're in. Don't focus too much on what's ahead. Do a good job in the job you're in. Prove that you're the go-to person for the answer, that you don't have to be taught every step of the way how to do something or where to find something. You're the one that's going to get it done. Be that answer. And that goes really men or women. Just be the answer in the company, and people will come to you. People will bring you more work, they'll give you more opportunities, but you have to prove yourself first. You have to prove yourself that you can do the job. I see so many people who are so focused on, well, what's the next step in my career? What's the next level? Where am I going from here? You have to do a good job first. That's how you get to the next step, is show what a good job you do. If you can do a good job in this job, then maybe they'll consider you for that next step. And sometimes you have to ask for that. Some of the top mistakes that I've seen women make are well, sometimes just trying to separate themselves too much as women. It should really be everybody works really hard, everybody does a good job, and it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. And if you're the next one who's ready for a promotion, you should be able to get that promotion, and don't separate yourself too much. I see some women who try to make themselves so much I am the top woman here, or I'm going to be the top woman. Don't do it. Worry about the job. Worry about everybody. Don't separate yourself too much. And I know for many of you, this might be much later on in your careers, but sometimes the mistakes that I saw women make were that once they did have a family, they then expected to be treated differently. Like you want to be treated the same the whole way, and you have the same opportunities, but now you have a family, you want to be treated differently. You want more time off, you want more ability to spend time with your family, which we all do, but you don't get any more than anybody else just because you're a woman. And that's a huge mistake I've seen people make, is say, okay, well, now that I have a family, now I should get extra time off. That's a huge mistake. I can't give you examples of yourselves, because you have to know yourself. This is another thing. Know yourself, know your brand, know yourself, know who you are. If you can't go up to somebody and introduce yourself then you don't know yourself well enough and you don't know what your brand is. I see men doing a much better job at knowing their brand, being more comfortable in themselves, knowing who they are, knowing how to go up to somebody and say, hi, I'm Kelley, I'm here to talk to you today about women in sports and how do they get better. That's the kind of thing. Women don't do that enough. They don't know enough about themselves or their brand, or be able to look somebody in the eye and say that. And part of that's confidence too. You have to be confident in yourself. It's okay. Be strong, be confident, know who you are. Go up to somebody and introduce yourself and be strong about it. That's one of the things too. I see that in interviews where women sometimes are I have to pull information from them in interviews. I have to ask a lot more questions than I do of men. And a part of it is just getting to know yourself and being okay explaining who you are. They have to know who you are. You have to get to know your network, get to know the people inside your network. It's not just having 1,000 LinkedIn connections. It's knowing who those people are and have them be able to vouch for you, to say, hey, this person can do a good job. So your networking starts actually with the jobs that you do, your internships, your positions that you have at different companies. If you do a good job, you're developing your network around there. You just have to make sure that you're keeping in touch with those people as you go throughout your career. And two, if you don't know people in your network, make sure you get to know them. Get to know them really well and make sure that they get to know you. Relationship building is key. How you communicate, who you communicate with, and being a genuine person that people feel like they can connect to is crucial in how you're going to develop in your career. Women specifically, to break that glass ceiling, one, it is there. It definitely exists. And there's a couple of different, thoughts that I have on the glass ceiling. One, I haven't seen a whole lot of, thinking of people saying, oh, I don't want a woman to be in that role. I don't see that. What I see a lot of is that as people grow in their careers, they have to make choices, and you have to have a solid spouse or partner that is going to support you in your career. And if they don't, you're going to have to take a step back. And from what I've seen, women who are on that track to a high level position, or where that glass ceiling would hit them, the thing that I see that derails them is family or a spouse or partner who has to take a job someplace else. And it's not necessarily an industry thing. It is a societal thing that often still women are the ones who are going to follow the guy. Not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I see. Now, with that, if you make good choices and you know what you want throughout your career early on, and the spouse or partner that you pick, and I know for many of you, you're not even dating anybody, so that seems like way off the line. And I don't mean to give marriage advice and everything, but when you're picking somebody, make sure you love them, make sure they're your best friend, and make sure they're on track with your career. And those are three, they have to be all three. You can still be successful, but if you want to be happy in your success, you have to have somebody who's going to support you along the way. If you don't have that, you're going to get derailed from that glass ceiling. So I see that glass ceiling as a couple of different things. There's some society issues that I think play into the glass ceiling, and two, look around, get to know some of the people who've made it to those roles. Last year in Sports Business Journal's under 40, there were only, I think, 2 or 3 females. I think that says a lot. And I don't think that it's because there's this industry that says we don't want women in charge. I think a lot of it has to do with people making choices along the way, and I think there's a lot of times that people make family choices as opposed to their career choices. So make sure you guys, on your way, as you're going through your career, you pick the right people to partner with in your life so that they're along the ride with you. And you're able to take those next steps when they're available for that glass ceiling. As far as breaking through the glass ceiling or moving up early as a woman, I can tell you I was very young when I was the head of HR for the Blue Jackets. I was 29 when I took the position, and one of the things that helped me was extra education. I have a bachelor's degree and a law degree, and it's not just the fact that, I have a degree on my resume, but it's the fact that I have a law degree that gave me training and education that prepared me to be able to handle difficult situations, make analytical decisions, and deal with bigger picture and strategical issues that they don't necessarily teach you in undergrad. Now, obviously, getting advanced education in sports is just as key as well. So getting an advanced education in that specific industry is tremendous as well, because you will know things from a strategic standpoint that can help you get to those levels. But what it did for me was it made me more confident, which made me more able to have conversations with, and most of the people at our organization at the time were 40-ish, 50-ish year old males, and to be able to sit at the table with them and have discussions. That extra education and training gave me that confidence to be able to sit with them. It's not just, oh, I've got a degree on my resume, but it's what it made me, that made me able to have those conversations and make all the opportunities for me that were there. I think that there's a lot of things that women bring to the table, and the successful people that I've seen as women in sports, or really women in any industry, is confidence and the ability to be confident and a strong woman without being a bitch. And it's not an easy thing to do. I can tell you that I've had numerous conversations with people because they come across the wrong way. You have to learn how to communicate. And there are some double standards out there, and you have to know that. And you have to be able to work within those.